lights are out and you stumble in the dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life feels lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Sim Racing Media Network. We are live here from beautiful Charlotte Motor Speedway in the heart of all that is NASCAR country, would say, here in North Carolina. Want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. This is the Sim Racing Media Network. We are bringing to you live the Racers Elite Xfinity Series. I am very happy to be back with you guys here for this week. I apologize for having to miss last week. We were doing just some preparations for the storm. Very grateful nothing happened over here, but can never be too sure. We've seen these things take turns before with us, so I was helping my parents get their storm shutters up. I do hope and pray for all of those out there that were affected, that you guys are okay, that you're doing all right, and that recoveries can be done here swiftly. Meanwhile, we got some action here for all of you joining us here tonight. Want to thank everyone once again for joining us tonight here. Again, happy to be back. Bummed to have missed the last week, but no worries. We are here for some fantastic action. We have 105 laps here for tonight's race. I will have a broadcast partner here in the boss man, Jonathan Leach, but he's having some mic issues, so he's just going to go ahead and give himself a little bit of a reset and then try to jump back on here in just a few moments. So we'll see if that does him any good. So in the meantime, you guys just get to keep listening to me and hopefully not one of the dogs in the background. Meanwhile, we got 81 degrees is going to be the ambient temp tonight. 36% humidity, partly cloudy, 10 miles per hour winds. That's going to affect you, depending, of course, on the direction of them. But the biggest part of this, and it's what my buddy Chris Pendle told me right before this qualifying got started. He said, Angel, this track is loose. I am wicked loose. I don't know what I'm going to do for tonight's race, but it wasn't looking too bad in practice, but it's just that track temp, 124 degrees, actually 3 degrees higher than when we spoke. It was back at 121, so it's just going to keep getting hotter here in this Charlotte sun, just baking this asphalt racetrack. Going to make for these drivers gonna have a lot of work to do on their hands with these Xfinity cars that already are quite a bit of work, considering how loose they typically are. You really are working the right rear in these cars, and it's not easy when you got an even hotter racetrack like this. Very, very slick to cause this, and even then turn 4 here is always just feels like it's so loose here. You tend to get loose already as it is. So the drivers will be battling that here tonight. Qualifying should be getting settled here in just a few moments. Nope, John's not coming up just yet. So okay, well, we'll see if you can give that another try. We'll get him in here eventually, everybody. But nonetheless, as you see there as well mentioned, it is actually in Concord, North Carolina. Beautiful racetrack. I've not been able to come here for an actual race, but I have been by to actually visit the track, and just a beautiful facility, and definitely one I hope to be able to visit again. But more excited to be able to bring you the Racers Elite Xfinity Series from here. We've got tonight a healthy 21 car field. A lot of new names as well, so very happy to see that as qualifying is just getting settled in. And some very familiar faces, however, at the top of the board, and that is going to be Sean Dunaway from Indiana there in the 31:09 mark. But man, Todd Slauson only 14,000, sorry, away from that pole position. Very, very close. And then if I look closely, third and fourth were only separated by 4 1,000ths of a second. So that's pretty incredible all on its own. And you see the cars are lined up here on the front stretch as a beautiful view. I love when they do this. Get a good view for the fans that are there in the stands to be able to get some good shots of the cars, their favorite drivers, before the race starts. So it's Lee Campbell and Sean Merriman there in row 2. Row 3 is Michael Bennett and Chris Melton. Matthew Jared and Jesse Fox going to be there in row 4. Jesse, always nice to see you there. A nice qualifying run. Andrew Teft, the boss man here. And then there, my buddy mentioned, Chris Pendle rounding out your top 10. In row number 6 is going to be Tyler Smith and Trevor McGee. Some unfamiliar faces to the Xfinity Series here. As you see the iRacing.com pace car getting moving now. Kirby Wainscott and Richard Odie. They're in row 7. Colin McDonough and Dennis Kane in row 8. Row 9 belongs to Hugh Escobar and James Wagner. James, nice to see you out here in this league from Rough Deck Racing over there. Paul Shaw, Rob Yost Jr. I hope I said that right, Rob. Rounding out row 10. And then the entire field rounded out there by Truth Hoke in the number 55. So got 21 drivers. Going to be exciting to see what we have got here for tonight's race. Let us know in the comments if you're watching here who you are rooting on, and well, maybe who you expect or who you hope to win tonight's race. As these drivers getting ready to go green and getting through into turn number 3. Jump over to our YouTube chat. Michael joined us. He said he only did 2 laps of practice and he knew it was loose. Yeah, it's gonna be tough. So it's gonna really work on that right rear tire. Make sure that you are not full throttle off of that turn until that steering wheel is straight. That's gonna be your best buddy here. It'll be a little bit slower at first, but that'll really save the tire and help your overall just control the car coming off the turn. Regardless, we're race car drivers. We want to go fast. That's what we're going to do here is we're getting ready to go through the Geico Restart Zone round number 2 here. Season 5. Sean Dunaway's the pole sitter, and we are off green flag racing. And wow, they're already spinning tires as we are green here going into turn number 1. Even your pole sitter there, you saw how quickly that was loose for these drivers. We'll see them coming off of turn number 2, what it looks like. Oh, no, well, we won't have an opportunity for that. We actually have a wreck here into turn number 1. Let's see. That's going to be the number 39 Toyota of Colin McDonough. So maybe a few more involved in that. Let's see. I already see. Oh, I'm looking at the blue car up top. Got, yes, this 39 and then the 72. Yeah, I think maybe the 72 just comes down a little bit on him with Hugh Escobar. Everybody just checking up and just trying to make up some time there, and that's going to cost quite a few drivers. It looks like Robbie Ross looks like he should be all right. Truth, I know some of these drivers took at least a little bit of damage in that, so looks like Dennis Kane might have as well. So that's going to be the first caution here of the evening. We do have 105 laps in this race, so I expect a lot of green flag racing. At least I think there was 38 laps is what we're looking for a tank of fuel for tonight. So that's going to be where these drivers are just going to try to manage it. Without a doubt, they're going to wish that they can get tires way before they ever need to get fuel. And cautions like this is what helps that opportunity. But on the first lap, you didn't use any tires, so you're not really coming down. And there's not really a need to come down to top off fuel-wise because, again, you're not trying to extend it. And even then, these you have a lot of these drivers that had some damage that came down. So let's see here. We do have, of course, 2 green-white checkers here for tonight's race. These drivers all do get 1 fast repair, but there's actually an incident limit in which that there's a maximum of 15 incident points, and that's just regarding contact either with the wall, with another car, going off track for whatever reasons, a couple different things, and that helps to limit. If you're not familiar with iRacing, where it just helps kind of limit, kind of force the drivers to kind of a little bit be on their, on their toes, as one would say, to really keep them from just kind of, saying, oh, well, I'm just going to go just drive like hell. No, that's not, got to keep it calm. And this Racers Elite Xfinity Series has proven, of course, if you watch any of last season, that you can go back here on our YouTube channel on the Sim Racing Media Network and check it out, where the racing has just been absolutely fantastic. And it's been an unreal battle that we had going into the championship. Granted, of course, Nathan Mann, kind of just swept the playoffs, so just an absolutely dominating fashion. Not returning here for this season. He said he may see him in some of those select races that the Racers Elite does put on, that you do see here put on during on the Sim Racing Media Network. But aside from that, John's not coming through for you guys still, so he's going to give that another shot. Lucky for him, there was a caution on lap 1, so he's not really missing a ton of laps here. So we're actually going to go green here once they cross the line, of course, back around. We're in 1 and 2 now, so it will be lap number 5, giving us 101 laps until the end of this race. And I wonder with, let's see, because you get 4 total, 5 total sets, so it's 4 total tire changes. And no, John, they still can't hear you. But the conversation still goes. If just five total tire sets, you put 105 laps. So I think was a 21 laps a set. If I'm right, quote me. If I'm not, don't. 21 laps a set, so that's well before fuel, so it could become a strategy of maybe do you come in extra time and try to see if that you gain that with the advantage on tires, or is it worth trying to just extend it as long as you can for the fuel? we'll see what it does. See the drivers get through turn 1 and 2 here. Coming off of turn 4 up to the Geico restart zone. Barney the flagman ready to drop the green flag once again. And we're green flag racing again here at this Racers Elite. I had a bit of a tongue twister there. I thought we were about to have a wreck there. Looked like that 80 got a really bad restart. Yeah, that's the 80 car. Beautiful paint scheme where he was extremely loose on that start. With these tires and the way this track is, everybody sliding up. Wow, Chris Pendo hard hit off of 4. Off of 2. That wouldn't be surprised if that would be some possible wheel damage already. As you see that number 10 of Kirby Wainscott right to the high side. He's a driver that loves going right up there and just about any one of these racetracks. And we love to see the way he puts down some of those fast laps. He's looking under attack here from Richard Odie, but also looking to attack there on number 14 of Trevor McGee. Fresh air is going to be that clean air, as one would say, going to be key tonight. Sean Dunaway just putting down a monster lap of 33.7, which is 3.5 tenths quicker than your second place car there in Lee Campbell. So, and then Lee, for those of you that aren't familiar, he's in a new car and new manufacturer, new paint scheme. He was in that number 14 Chevrolet Camaro previously, usually running those navy blue colors, and of course the actual navy on there. This time around, running in that number 60. That's that Roush 60 right there, looking good. Looking for chasing RC diecast. Okay, I should know what that is, but I don't. I don't have money for diecast, but nonetheless, looking good there in that number 60 Ford Mustang. So we got a Chevy, Ford, Chevy, and then a Toyota here in Todd Slauson. So if you can get back around Michael Bennett for that 3rd position, then we'll have all 3 manufacturers running in the top 3 positions. But nonetheless, then Jesse Fox you see here in the number 69. Oh no, they're wrecking here off of 2. And that was Chris Pendo. He had a... Oh man, oh, this is a massive wreck. Wow. The 18. Sean Merriman. Oh man, there's gonna be a lot of frustrated drivers involved in that one. It looked like so one of 2 things happens here where you see this 94. I think this is probably coming. The wreck happened off of 2, so this is off of 4. So oh no, here it is right there. So does the 77 come down, the 94 come up? So I was about to say that's gonna be, you know, 1 or 2 situations here. So let's get off of this view. We'll go. Slow it down here. Of course, the 94 is sliding up, as one would normally do. Yeah, I mean that's gonna be a bit of netcode, but I think that in this regard, you're just being you're playing that a little too close here, a little too early, Chris. So that's gonna cost him a faster pair and quite a few other drivers. I mean, you see, he gets hit so hard. Most drivers would say, "Why are you not holding your brakes?" Holding, he just gets slammed so hard with that other car, it just sends him spinning like a topper. The 83 Rob Yost, heavy damage for him. He's probably gonna need a faster pair. I think Dennis Kane managed to miss this again. Nice. He's just right here in the back. Not paying us any attention in the world. Sees all this wreck happening. Gonna slow it down. So he was well behind all of it. And you can see the carnage afterwards. Minimum 4 or 5 cars involved in that one. You see there. Chris heavy damage, and I wonder, it looks like he probably didn't have his faster pair checked on, so that's going to be really tough there if that's the situation. So that was your second caution. Quite the eventful one. Thank you, King Sneak, for joining us there, rooting on McGee. There must be Tyler McGee in the 77, I believe. No, I apologize. That's Tyler Smith. Trevor McGee, I apologize. He's in at number 14. Unfortunately, involved in that one, also in a Ford Mustang. So Chris, he'll feel bad about taking out another Ford. He's a big Ford guy. Nice Jolly Rancher. Sorry, my English isn't perfect always. Let's see. Jolly Rancher paint scheme there. No hood on it. That'll keep it cool, but not great for the aerodynamics. So we'll jump back over then to your leader, Sean Dunaway. He's in that same 0-1 Liquid Death car that he was in last season, well, we're now almost here 10% of the way through the race. Gonna get lined up side by side again. The iRacing.com pace car lights are off, and Barney the Flag Man is getting ready to throw the green. John's gonna go ahead and just give a full reset to his computer. So we'll see if he can come back, because there's been times where he's just talking over here, but he's not coming across to you guys. So I do apologize. We want to get the boss man back out here for you all. It's always a treat when me and John get to broadcast together. We don't get to do so often, and I always enjoy doing so. Of course, I feel awful not mentioning. I know as we're getting here to the backstretch, my broadcasting partner here, Troy Thomas, he's out. For those of you that don't know, he is from the in one of those areas, of course, that was affected by the storm. He's got no power. They're not expecting power maybe within the next week, maybe not 4 weeks. So, Troy, we're praying for you, and I do ask for all of you, of course, to also include him in your prayers if you do, please, so that he may get power back for his family. As we do that, coming off of turn number 4, the iRacing.com pace car going to hit pit lane, and we are getting ready to go green flag racing again. Sean Dunaway, let's see if anybody doesn't spin these tires. Maybe keep it in second or third gear. Your second place car from the outside row, he's going to spin it. Kirby Wainscott, he's going to spin it into the wall, and we are wrecking right there behind them, but it looks like we're going to stay green. They may just say, hey, we're going to go ahead and stay green in the process. So that's exactly what's going to happen. Some drivers maybe, I know I'd be one of the ones in the back thinking, hey, I slowed down thinking this was going to be a wreck, but iRacing didn't throw it. iRacing did not throw it. So we're going to continue on. Sean Dunaway goes right into the corner. You see him just diamonding this corner, kind of slid right up. But, man, that 16 Michael Bennett, he is a man on the move. And that colleague number 16 car just flying through. Of course, that's the AJ Allmendinger one, right? Yes, that's the AJ one. Lee Campbell there in third, and Jesse Fox, great job all the way up to the 4th position as Todd Slauson now losing a couple spots. Wondering if Todd's working on that long run speed. Some of the things that he struggled with a little bit last season, where he had a lot of short run speed, but that long run speed was something that he struggled on. So let's see if that's something that he's hopefully working on here. The 98, Andrew Teff, nice to see him in that. Riley Hurst. Goodness, I just had a little bit of a brain fart there. John, that's where we need you. Tyler Smith in the number 77 Toyota. I do like, we got quite a few Toyotas, 5 of them here in the field. And then I think it's 6 Fords, and then the rest of the field filled out by Chevrolet. So got some more parity, I would say, through the field when it comes to the manufacturers. I think James Wagner there, the Roughneck Racing series that he's from. They've got their dirt series that's broadcasted at 9 p.m. Here on the Sim Racing Media Network with our very own Alan Bergen, which is why he's not racing anymore in these races, because he's broadcasting those. And you know how much Alan loves his dirt. As I'm talking and blabbing away, Michael Bennett's going to take the lead here through 3 and 4 rather easily, almost, it seemed like, over Sean Dunaway, and put a new driver to the point. The number 16 Chevrolet Camaro of Michael Bennett up to the lead here. As we're going to see what kind of lead can he pull away, if any, now from Sean Dunaway. And sometimes, you're not very good lead car. You need to have somebody in front of you to hit your marks. I'm that way because I don't hardly ever lead, so I'm just not used to it. And maybe this is going to help Sean Dunaway as well. And maybe he just burned up a little bit his tires. He had some pretty good blazing fast laps he had put down there previously at 31:27. Double check through the field, but that was probably his fastest through the field. Richard Odie back there in the 17th position. He just put down his fastest lap. He is now looking underneath the number 18 of Sean Merriman, who's not currently on the lead lap. So you see Sean just going to go ahead and let him go. So it shows even when you're newer to the series itself, I think Sean ran a couple races last season. Still going to show that respect amongst themselves. But what's interesting is that your 18th, 19th, 20th, and 21st place cars that are all not on the lead lap, that include Trevor McGee in the 70. Oh my goodness, Trevor, I'm so sorry. In the 14, I mess it up once. I'm gonna keep messing it up. You may as well change your number into the 70s at one point. If you can do that, Andrew. Chris Spendle in the 94, Sean Merriman there in the 18, and then Kirby Wainscott back there in the 10. They're all exactly 2 laps down. So they're actually fighting for the lucky dog because there's not somebody currently 1 lap down. And then, so that's that battle right here between the 14 and the 94. The next other battle we have here on track is the 72 of Hugh Escobar, the 25 of Paul Shaw, and then the 78 of Richard Odie. Odie's going to tag the wall just a little bit there off of 2. That's not going to allow him to get to the outside of Paul. But that is that battle for the 15th, 16th, and 17th positions. McGee and Pendle still fighting hard for that spot. Really trying to get that lucky dog here if a caution were to come out. First and second staying about the same. Right now, that 49 with Chris Melton, he's looking peeking to the inside of Truth Hoke. And that'll be our 3rd caution here of the evening. Up. Yeah, not picking up anything on the caution itself. So while we get that figured out, that is lap 20 that was completed now on lap 21 here. Competing, I think this is now the 1/5 part of the race. So 20% of the race complete, everybody. So we will be right back. We're going to have our first commercial break here of the evening. And we are back live here from the Sim Racing Media Network at Charlotte, North Carolina, Concord, North Carolina, but here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. So we had our 3rd caution of the evening, and we don't have for a reason just yet. So as we get that put together, that did give, I do believe, Trevor McGee the lucky dog, if I'm not mistaken. And I think John's restarting his computer finally got this mic working. Can we hear John?
I'm here.
There it is. There he is. Hi, buddy. Hi, John.
Hi, Angel. How's it going? Looks like you got a pretty interesting race going on. It's a little bit uncommon. 3 cautions, only about, 22 laps, I believe I'm showing so far. So kind of racy here, it seems like, for this one here at Charlotte.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Essentially the first caution that was that lap 1 incident, remember, where we saw those drivers just get loose going right into one, just this contact and having a cold tire, but a very, very hot and slick racetrack. I'm sure that the temperature is well past the 124 degrees that we started with already.
Yeah, well, hot temperatures, slick racing surface, the Xfinity car, which I think is a little bit looser regularly than the Cup car, and specifically more than the Truck Series car. These really are a handful when it comes into driving. Sorry, I'm joining in a few minutes late. I'm filling in for Troy. Everybody knows he's in the Carolinas region after Hurricane Helen. He's been without power since it came through, and looks like it'll be another week even without power out there. That was a really major hurricane, and it's really affected a lot of people. Another driver for this series, Truth Hoke, also affected. Hoping that him and Troy both, things start looking up for them sooner rather than later.
Go ahead, and I got word on what the caution was for finally. So we're gonna go jump over to the 78 car, Richard Odie. And that's that contact right there between him and the 72. I don't know if the 78 just misjudged how much the 72 was slowing down. Does the 72 slow down more, far more than he was anticipating, of course, so that would be that. But I was like, couldn't figure out what was going on. Let's see. But nonetheless, we are now let's see here. Lap 24, that's going to be lap 25 when we go green. So we're going to have then 81 laps of green flag racing to do, which puts you into a two-stop situation, about 38 laps. And regardless, you don't want to do that much on these tires. They're struggling after 10 laps.
Laps, high temperatures, Charlotte racing, large field. I'm showing 20 drivers on the racing surface right now. 21 started the race. Not too surprised as we're going back to green flag racing right now, led by Michael Bennett and Sean Dunaway.
Yeah, those were Sean Dunaway, your pole sitter here tonight, and they are driving it into 1 and 2. And try to keep it together. Everybody did come down and get their first set of field goods that last time around. Put them right in that perfect mark of 21 laps for each set of tires that they were given here tonight. So the caution was perfect, but these drivers are trying to figure out these cold tires on a very hot, slick racetrack. Send it off here into turn number 1. You see the number 01. He's trying to get right to the right rear quarter panel. That's 16. He just can't quite get there. He really want to make that pass to try to get back around him. We saw that short run speed earlier from Sean Dunaway, trying to use it to his advantage. Going to look to the inside of Michael. Not quite enough. Michael's going to go ahead and shut the door there as he get through 3 and 4. Going to put some dirty air on the front end of that 01. Going to be a little bit of a struggle. He's all right, though. There'll be 1, 2, 3 with Todd Slauson slowly reeling his way back in. Ooh, Todd, his fastest lap of the race there, too. Oh, and there it is, our 4th caution here of the evening. As you know, John, these drivers have a limited amount of incident points that they can occur. Oh, the 25 and then the 78. Wow.
At 78, Richard Odie are really torn up right there. See him trailing smoke here from my angle. Around 1 and 2.
Oh,
it's pretty rough.
Yeah. If I was in VR racing this one, that would have hurt. Wow. Yeah, he just and I'm pretty sure his race is over too, because I think he uses fast repair already. And that was one of your playoff drivers from last year, John. Here, race number 2, big trouble already for him.
Well, and you can never really. I mean, this series, everybody races really hard, and it's people getting significantly better week in and week out, and they practice a lot. So just because you were good last year doesn't mean you're going to be good this year either.
Hey, that is
Angel, if you do me a favor, send you a message on something I'd like to mention later on in the race if you get a second to check. Thanks. So right now you got Michael Bennett, Sean Dunaway, Todd Slauson, Lee Campbell, Andrew Teft are top 5. Andrew Teft running pretty good so far. He kind of runs the whole Racers Elite Series, does an excellent job. Truth Hoken 6th, that driver I mentioned earlier, affected by Hurricane Helen. However, he is racing, and he currently in the 55 Wrangler Chevrolet. That looks pretty cool. There's a Mustang on it, but he's driving a Chevy, so I'm kind of confused. I guess the Wrangler horse logo, question mark. But, you know, that's how now, kind of sort of how it goes. Dennis Kane having a good run so far in the top 10, but still a lot of racing to go here for this one.
Yeah, a lot of racing to go here, and this is really where you have to remember, as you mentioned, where this is not common for the series. So it's this initial start, a couple of laps where you're gonna have these issues. So I think that you have to mitigate it. Do not panic. Allow yourself to remember that you're gonna be okay, and you can allow yourself to really, I would say, hold on one moment.
I hear that puppy barking in the background. We might be seeing that one in Miami here pretty soon, folks.
Yeah, he was.
I mean, that's just for us SRM peoples, of course, but
he got excited.
We have
there.
3 opening spots. Just saying.
Yes, we do. An exciting time that we always have there in Miami. I'm really excited, man. It's only, Mike posted only less than 3 weeks away.
At 3 weeks away, and what, 75 laps for these guys. But 3 weeks for us. We're gonna try to go live, make it kind of an interesting event for us down there to talk to you guys, kind of do a live Q&A answer.
Yeah, that would be a lot of fun, and it's always enjoyable to be able to talk with everybody. And we know that, especially here, you already see in our YouTube chat, you know, that these fans they like to come and chat with us here on Wednesday nights.
Yeah, Michael Allen's asking for a lot of information. I'm not really sure. I don't have tons of stats I can give you for the 77 of Tyler Smith right now, other than he's currently in 14th, and you know, the fastest lap that I've got for him right now is a 31:55. You know, and he pitted lap 27, so he's on fresh feel good. So he ought to be moving to the front here. He is the first group. Well, I want to say first group, but he's a little fresher tires than some other drivers, from what I understand. And it'll be interesting to see what he can do with that number 77 machine.
Yeah, well, he did only complete one race, if anything. Last week's race started 22nd, finished 24th in that one, but does have a couple of truck races under his belt, looks like. So he's had a best finish there of 13th, which was at Darlington. So if you got to give him credit, going to be one of the hardest tracks you can get a good finish at. Darlington's the way to do it, and I think seeing some similarities in a track like tonight, where these drivers are going to be really on edge with these cars and how hot this racetrack is.
Yeah, you know, I'm so used to Charlotte being a night event, and amongst iRacing and of course and the NASCAR circuits and everything else. So this is certainly a different scenario for these guys being on a hot Charlotte surface. And I'm looking forward to see here if we get a long run to see how the tires fall off and what kind of grip these guys are really dealing with, so I can kind of watch, you know, from my own eyes here. But I imagine there's a lot of skew kind of from the front to the rear of these guys going through the corners, meaning you'll see the rear end kicked out quite a bit.
Yeah, they're looking for every bit of downforce they possibly could on that right rear, which is why you don't want to be hitting the wall with it, because it's gonna, you know, take that advantage away. So that's where these drivers are trying to find that kind of that middle ground. But as we're getting ready to go green here, it'll be a third of the way through the race already as well. So that these drivers got to keep that into account here.
Yet a third of the way through, 20 drivers around, 3 drivers 1 lap down. Christopher Pendle, Sean Merriman, Kirby Wayne Scott, they are by no means out of this race. As the pace car turns down pit road, Michael Bennett, Sean Dunaway are going to lead the way. back to green one more time. Here we go at Charlotte. One more time. Once again at Charlotte. Bennett with a solid restart. Sean Dunaway, it seemed like he kind of just, decided he was going to drop down and be second and not really compete for that position, which could be a little bit of a tire play. But curious to see if anybody's got speed for Michael Bennett, because he's a newer driver in the series, and he took last week by storm.
Yeah, he did. But he did a great job getting to the lead there. Oh man, I love this view down there, in 3 and then off of 4. But it's one of those things where he had that great pace to be able to pass the 0-1, but guess what? He didn't get the pole from the 0-1 either. The 16 started back there in that 5th position. Sean Dunaway with a blazing fast lap. Todd Slauson was very close with him, so the top 3 or 4 drivers were very close in time-wise. And Sean with a great run off of 2, going to try to use it to his advantage to the inside of the 0-1. To the inside of the 16. They both drive it in deep, though, so they're both going to have to let off and going to have a slow run here off of 4.
And, that's going to let Todd Slauson pick up a couple of tenths on him. I saw at least 1 tenth. One thing that's worth noting, Angel, this racing surface being so hot, it's going to be really difficult to make the pass on the inside because the car is just going to want to push and slide right out to the outside wall. So you're going to be way off the throttle. And really, you're almost kind of hoping for the car in front of you to overdrive the corner, have to get out of it, you underdrive the corner, and just happen to have enough momentum to carry you through.
We've had a lot of fun battles here at Charlotte. I know we don't race together too much anymore, but I remember we've had some good races here at Charlotte, and that's one thing that I remember you taught me of doing, that you need to go in easy so that once these good drivers start pushing hard, that you'd have that advantage. And that's what I've always loved about here at Charlotte is Truth Hoke. Talk about big mover of the race, and up 17 spots now. He's going to make that pass there on Andrew Teth for 4th.
Yeah, Hoke racing for a lot. As he's going to slide right in front of him. Doesn't care if Andrew Teft runs everything. There was next to no room, and he just took that position. And I tell you what, Truth Hoke, since we've been covering Racers Elite, Angel, and I know I'm sure you've seen this, is an extremely improved driver. So when I was racing with these guys, 3 seasons ago, when I was trying to get back into it, Hoke was a little more of a middle to rear of the field kind of guy. So maybe not rear of the field, but middle pack kind of guy. Now, week in and week out, when I tune in for these races, he's contending for top 3s, top 5s. I've seen him lead races. I'm not sure if he's snagged a win yet, but I think it's on the way. It's certainly coming if he has not.
Yeah, not on Wednesday. It's not on Wednesday nights. He's had that speed though. You are right.
Yeah, so he's an up-and-coming driver for certain. It's also nice to see Andrew Teft do really well. He's kind of a mid-pack guy at some places, and in other places he carries some extreme speed. So it's good to see him with having a good run. And, something I like a lot about Andrew is he can very unbiasedly administer the Racers Elite Series and race in it. I have yet to meet anybody else who can do that, with the exception of once or twice. But he runs very well in the league, and he can separate racing surface incidents, administrative duties, and I greatly appreciate that as a broadcaster and driver and somebody who's ran a league as well.
Well, I mean, and that's part of the reason why I pitched the league to my buddy, Odie and Chris, and they tried out Wednesday nights last week, and I think Odie's running like almost all of the series now. And he just can't stop talking about how much he loves it and the respect amongst drivers. And same with Chris, where he said, I just thought I was bad, or I just kept getting involved in other things, and it's just that I'm racing here. No, the level of respect, is so great amongst drivers. He's like, but it's not easy because there's a level of competition that is so high as well. So that I think that shows, as we're talking about that, there's a battle for the lead. With John Dunaway trying really hard to get to that inside. He's there, but that outside just carries such nice momentum here at Charlotte. It's never mind. 16 going to throw a block there in a 3.
Yeah, and look at them both. They both go into the corner, and they're sliding up at least a lane based on just the temperature and the banking here, and the car just wanting, it's just kind of tight pushing outside. I'm sure they don't feel like it's tight, but the car itself is wanting to slide up and you just got to get out of the throttle. And once you do that, when you're the car on the inside, you just can't make it. As you see, the 01 overdrove the exit just a touch there and into the outer wall.
Yes, he did. You see right here, just that time difference. Todd Slauson has been just cutting those laps down as just you mentioned it, where these two drivers are fighting a little harder, and it's going to be harder on their tires in the long run. And that time, you see that Slauson, lost a little bit, and you see that's where the 0-1 kind of backed off, and Todd's not quite looking to make those passes just yet. He's still being calm, and that's what I was mentioning at the start of this race, that Todd, you mentioned about truth, and by far and away, yes, he was just getting out of that back end to mid pack at the start of the Xfinity series last year when I kind of joined in, but that previous season. But same with Todd Slauson, where he was sometimes just too fast. He would push it way too hard, and he could put down the fast laps, but he couldn't stay up there. Now he's patient, running good laps on the long run, allowing him to get up to the lead. But right now, it's some great battles here through the races. Wow, Jesse Fox just had to really let up, and he gets into the wall a little bit. James Wagner going to make his way in front of him there, that number 30. He's up 10 spots as well.
It's cool to see some movers. You got some people that have fallen back. Sean Merriman down 14 on track, a lap down in 18. Running decent lap times, pretty comparable, just trapped a lap down currently. Back to Tyler Smith. He's up a couple spots since we last talked about him. He's in 12th currently. He's got 2 positions in front of him, possibly 3, but he does have to contend with that 78, your pal, Richard Odie, who must have still had a fast repair because he's not out of this one, Angel.
No, he's not. I'm kind of surprised, and he's still here on the lead lap. So give him props for saving the fast repair. But guess what? We still got more than half of the race, so you have to be careful. And I'm wondering if that's the situation as well for Tyler Smith, where we saw him get some pretty good damage. So if he did have to use his fast repair, is he just kind of just playing it safe right now, knowing he doesn't have that in his back pocket, just in case.
And we see that 18 car looking to the inside. We got to make note that's not for position. That's Sean Merriman. I mentioned him a moment ago. He's the biggest loser right now, but he has plenty of speed, just biding his time because he's a lap down. No reason to get himself into any kind of situation as he's in the free pass position currently.
And he was showing that respect to those drivers earlier in this race too, when he was a lap down, where like, all right, I get out of your way, go ahead, go on by, and that's something you just love to see when you're racing around these drivers, because even as a lap car, man, sometimes you still want to be like, man, I know I'm faster than you guys, but I have no choice. I just got to sit back behind you. As the 14 of Trevor McGee, he's going to make his way down pit lane. I think he had actually been a wave around car on that previous one to get one of his lap backs. And actually Chris Pendle was as well, because he pit on lap 8. So I know that those two were just really hoping an additional caution would come out, because they were able to get one of their 2 laps back, but this is where it's going to hurt them, and they're going to lose an additional lap, maybe 2 here under some green flag condition pits.
Yes, I mean, those are certainly approaching. While we were discussing things, I was looking at a lot of these cars. Many of them are starting to struggle. You're starting to see more of a loose condition into the corner, but they're getting kind of tied off because you're trying to use the throttle to help the car turn, and then it's pushing up the racing surface. So you got to be real careful as the Tyler Smith at 77's in the wall. It looks like he might give up a position to Odie here in just a second, who's about to look down low, but that 18, that lap car's in the way. The 77 kind of stuck outside, really backing off the corner here. 78 down. Richard Odie once again to his inside. Might be able to set up a pass here in a turn 1. He's going to think better of it.
And we're going to look over here instead to Jesse Fox just right in front of them, and the 80 of Matthew Jarrett. They're side by side for that 10th position. Jesse down 2 spots. You saw him get into the wall a little bit as well earlier. Don't know if he's got any damage from that. So he's just kind of on the end of this long run. So it seems like his tires have not made it as well as some of these other drivers. So something he'll have to work on for this next green flag run that we have. And this is where I always mention it. And I remember talking just a couple weeks ago, of course, with Troy about it, where the first long green flag run that you get where you abuse your tires, you have to make sure as well that on the second run you don't utilize them by being too cautious because you had overdrove them. As that 69 gets right to the right rear quarter panel, that 80 is going to slide up and he'll lose the position, but man, he was not going to give it up easy. Wow.
And while this battle is happening, a battle for fifth between Andrew Teft and Lee Campbell. Campbell's been trying to get under Teft for the better part of the last 5 laps, just hasn't been able to quite make it yet. So we got multiple scenarios and things happening on this racing surface right now. Teft back now about 2 car lengths over Campbell. Campbell looking low. Teft running the high lane again. Here comes Campbell with a great run out of the corner. Might have a shot to take the position into turn number 1.
Yeah, because 98 got loose there off of 4, so that if he can get the run. The problem for the 60 is that, again, that outside just carries just enough momentum that even if you're better on the bottom, as long as the 98 is careful with his throttle control, he's going to probably be able to keep that position, again, assuming he doesn't make that mistake, and that's the problem for the 60. Because Andrew's not one to typically make that, where he's going to be able to hold you off for quite a bit. Eventually, the 60 is just going to get a good run and pass him, but it allows the 98 to really do a good job of holding him off, because the 60 is trying to chase him down. This top 4, man, they're getting racy up here. And even now, Chris Melton, last week's winner, pulling up here on the field of this now a mostly 7-car breakaway from the field.
And I want to take a look up to the front. Now only 0.5 of a second separates the top 3, Bennett, Dunaway, and Slauson. As Slauson has chased down Dunaway and Bennett, who have been regularly racing. And don't look now, Truth Hoke is within a second also. So Slauson and Hoke have not been throwing haymakers at each other back and forth like Dunaway and Michael Bennett. It's worth noting that Bennett and Dunaway both have a little bit cleaner air, which will help with the aerodynamics around this racing surface. So it might be a little bit of a wash as soon as Slauson and Hoke get there. But I would assume that these 2 guys have some slightly better tires than those in front of them. Now, what does Hoke do here? Does he just kind of roll with Slauson, or is he going to pounce to try to move to 3rd right away? Oh, boy. Wow. For a second there, Angel, I thought the 22 cut him a little bit of slack, and he may have cut him just enough slack to not run into the back of the 01, but he is certainly still looking for that position as Hoke is going to sneak to the outside of Slauson. And what we've seen right here is the outside might be where you want to be, because Slauson's not going to be able to get the drive off the corner. Hoke might be able to take this position by staying on the high side. If I'm a Hoke, I'm coming soon. I'm coming very soon. I don't want to be more than 2 laps early, though. But I think at this point, if any one of those guys come down, the rest of them are going to come down as well. Now, we're thinking 38 laps. We're on lap 59, so that puts us at 80, 95. Ooh, perhaps they want to stay out to make it a one-stop race here. In that case, how far can they stretch it? Quick math thought it was going to work out, but there might be possible to stretch it to the end here.
Oh my gosh, it is just...
That's gonna be tough. They got to make it to 67, Angel.
67. That's they have to be doing a ton of saving. Now, granted, Tyler Smith, he pitted lap 27, so that actually puts him in, I'd say, the catbird seat here. Rob Yost right behind him. Richard Odie, Paul Shaw. Those four drivers pit lap 27, lap 28. So I'm going to assume Rob and Odie just came back and topped off. Where if there's a chance that they can make it to the end. So, or to 67 to be able to do that. But the pace has fallen off, John, by 2 seconds. So we also got to account for the fact that that's gonna really extend that your fuel mileage just a few more laps as well.
I don't know if it would give you a few laps, but you might be able to get a lap out of it. 60, 67, that's the magic number that I got. Get to 67, you get to the end if 38's the limit. But if they got a little bit more than that, and you're Truth Hoke, I want to get out in front of these guys.
Well, I mean, we had that caution at lap 30, or that caution at lap 26, 27. So they were able to save fuel in that caution as well.
That puts them at around 65.
Oh boy, John, that means you're telling me we're gonna make it. Oh no, James Wagner said we're not gonna make it. He's coming down now.
Yeah, they got to get to 67 to make it all the way to the end. So did somebody recognize that they needed to save 2 laps to get to the very end? But really, maybe you only need to save 1. Get to 66, save another one. If I'm Truth Hope, and I come down 65, I'm coming down 65. That's what I'm doing.
Well, yeah, exactly, because you don't have to make them up both of them here. You can do it half and half. Do 1 lap here, exactly 1 lap on the next one.
I think there's gonna be a caution, so I'm okay with having to make it up at the second side of it. I just want to get in front of these guys because I think Truth Hope's got the speed. He's only a 10th slower than Michael Bennett and Todd Slauson. Get him out front. Let's see what he can do. However, on green flag pit stops, how aggressive can you get into pit lane, and how aggressive can you rejoin the racing surface? This is my Achilles heel. As Dunaway and Truth are coming down right now.
I mean, they're coming off right off of turn 4. I mean, they are just here. It is. We got another one. Dennis Kane. I mean, they are just really pushing the issue here. Paul Shaw's actually coming down pit. Well, I guess if you even for those drivers that, I mean, unless they think they can make it, I don't know here. I'm really interested to see what this is going to produce. But I think your leader, Michael Bennett's coming in. Todd Slauson as well. Yeah. That'll leave Chris Melton out.
Now you see, so I have difference of opinion here. If they make it, if those 2 guys can make it to the end from here, I'm cool with them coming down pit road. I almost think now that you got short pitted, make sure you got enough fuel in it to get to the end.
So
instead, but I just don't know what the exact fuel situation and what the calculator looks like for those drivers.
So that's what I'm saying is that what if they just simply couldn't make it? They just had no choice but to come in. They were hoping for a caution.
Yeah, in that case, I'm going to give, I think Hoke is going to be a big winner here. But it looks like something might have happened to Truth Hoke. Slauson's in 8th, having just pitted. Hoke is all the way back in 13th. About the same amount of time on pit road, but he lost a ton of positions. And he's got 2.5 seconds back. He's 2.5 seconds from Slauson. Slauson. Has something happened to Slauson?
He's in 10th.
I guess not. Timing and scoring was showing that Hoke was catching him quickly. So that gap is going to be about a second. Dunaway and Michael Bennett somehow squeaked out in front of them, which tells me they were significantly more aggressive onto and off of pit road.
Well, right here, Michael Bennett was 2 seconds quicker on pit lane than Chris Melton and Andrew Teft almost. So that right there, he made that up in just his pit lane time because his pit stop time was just about the same as well.
And so really willing to push it between the timing marks here in iRacing, and it's worth noting you get away with a couple extra miles an hour If you give it back before you hit the timing line, which you don't really know where the timing line is, but you can get away with being a little bit faster. As Tyler Smith leading currently, you know what, if he can make it from here, if he got it to 68 here after pitting on 27, I think everybody can get to the end on this pit stop that's pitted so far.
I said this is a beautiful paint scheme. Oh my goodness. I love this looking 77, but yeah, you're right. And I apologize because Rob Yost had actually been your leader at that time.
And here comes Tyler Smith. He'll be able to make it to the end. I have a feeling that everybody else, the 63, 60, the guys from 63, they might be pushing it. But Dunaway, Bennett, Slauson, I think they can get there. Chris Melton, Andrew Teff, line up 65 and 65. They can get there. And I'm certain that Tyler Smith can get to the end.
And I believe here comes your leader, Richard Odie. He's going to come down pit lane. He's a little bit uncomfortable getting down there. He's going to have to use all the racetrack in 3 and 4. So he'll probably lose some time, but he'll just make a nice, safe pit road entry for himself, staying out that one extra lap. Here comes Sean Dunaway flying down here into turn number 3. And my goodness, what a lap. What a lap. I told you, if you need to get past them, just short pit him a lap. I didn't think it'd be this big of a difference, though. Wow. Oh, and Sean Dunaway actually, Slauson actually passed Michael Bennett already.
Yeah, so some strange things happening. Perhaps Bennett's
saving.
Need to save a little bit of fuel. I mean, pitting lap 64. He ran 32.2. He ran significantly slower than the others that time. So he's saving fuel. See what he does this lap, this time around.
So then where I mentioned, where you said, hey, these guys, maybe they can't make it, or, they can't. So for Sean, it's why, if I can't make it, then just run as hard as I can and maybe put some people lap down. Right now he's looking on the 94. Chris Pendle, granted Chris is on 10 lap older tires than him on that different strategy when he tried taking that wave around, so he'll go now 2 laps down. He'll go 1 lap down here now. And he'll have to pit eventually. So Sean's just right now flying though. He's at 1.4 seconds in front of them.
So he's got, he could save a little bit of fuel if he needs to, but perhaps, like you said, lap 63, he can't make it. Put as many down as you can. Bennett has picked up the pace. He ran closer to what I expected the last time around, and Dunaway slowed down that last time. So they're probably both, kind of right on the mark whether or not they can get there. And they are still running the fastest laps around the racing surface, but it's going to be tight.
Ah, man, I'm really interested. And again, big shout out here, Truth Hope, up 17 positions. Your first 2 drivers are first and second where they started. Your third place driver is only up 2 spots, but then Truth here hounded Michael Bennett for that 3rd position here, looking to make it 18 on the day. What an unbelievable job by him. And again, as we mentioned, James Wagner as well, up 10 spots. So two drivers up double digits here. We're now only 32 laps to go here in this race, so we're counting them down pretty quickly here.
Yeah, and this is really the closest battle on the track. The next one will be the next position for 5th between Melton and Teff. They got about 0.3 of a second between them. And then you got to go a little further back for a battle for 13th, which is Tyler Smith, Rob Yost Jr. Smith ended up in front of Rob Yost, even though he pit after him. So good on Tyler Smith picking up a position running 13th, pretty much where we've seen him. He's going to have some slightly fresher tires than those guys in front of him, and he is running a little faster than the next 3 guys, in front of him on average. So 11th might be within reach for him. 10th is 10 seconds ahead.
Well,
I think that's going to be a stretch, but Tyler Smith can certainly make it to 11.
You say that, but we don't know if those guys can make it on fuel. Tyler can make it on fuel. We know that much. So he can just run as hard as he wants. Probably not too much because it's still a 35 lap run. You know, those tires got to make it to the end. But you know, there is no fuel saving for him. For some of these other guys, they might have to mitigate that at the same time of he's got 5 lap fresher tires, which are probably gonna equal out by that point, but. If they're still saving fuel and he doesn't have to save fuel, he'll really, and you're going to have some drivers pushing it to the very end, just clutching it the final 10 laps if they could, where he'll easily make up. I say Tyler keeps it clean. He'll finish 7th here tonight. No worse.
Yeah, it'd be pretty impressive. Hoke did get around Michael Bennett. Little faster than second place Sean Dunaway, slower than the race leader of Slauson. He's got 3 seconds to Slauson. He's probably in a situation where he needs to run about as hard as he can here as well and kind of hope for the caution. But honestly, perhaps that's not the right way to think about it, and you need to save and hope for the caution. He's got a second on Michael Bennett. He's got a pretty good podium position right here. I think it's kind of funny that we do podiums like it's the Olympics or Formula One for NASCAR racing when we interview people. And we call it podium finishing. That just a gee whiz thing I just thought about for a moment there. But up 18 positions for Hoke. We don't know if he can make it for sure. Somebody, if you know if they can make it, let us know. I would like to know. But anyhow, going a little bit further back, there's just not much happening. Everybody's just kind of running their race to see what's going to happen next. This is kind of the calmest it's been since we've been here.
It honestly has been overall, but again, you got a lot of drivers who are trying to save fuel probably, just trying to see where they're going to be at, and again, just trying to make their tires as well, make it to the end of this race. John, 100 or we're now 80, on lap 80, 26 laps to go in this one. We still have 15 drivers on the lead lap, and so we've got a good field of drivers still here. And then 20 of the 21 that started still out in this race, with only Hugh Escobar being the first one to the beer stand out there. And he's been involved in the first 2 incidents, so I know he definitely used his fast repair pretty quickly, so he was done for the day there. But here we got 4th, 5th, and 6th. Michael Bennett there, and that's 16. Chris Melton, that number 49, and then the 98 of Lee Campbell, sorry, then I need Andrew Teft. Oh my goodness, one extra there. They're right up on each other for this 4th position. I just wonder if Michael just really trying to save his stuff, or he just maybe doesn't feel like he's got enough fuel, or does he try to save enough fuel for a hard run at the end, maybe, even with the fresher tires?
Well, I mean, you know how they do it in NASCAR. They say, all right, you need to save, you need to save, you need to save, and they just let their drivers go. And that's something that I usually try to think about in a race if I'm going to be relatively close. I would prefer to save fuel early and then run it hard later. My mindset for that, if I'm a crew chief or, if I'm driving or just spotting for a friend, is take it easy while everybody else is wearing the tires down. And so you're easy on your tires, you've saved your fuel, and now you can make the most speed while these drivers are having the hardest time.
I tend to agree on a strategy like that. Is we got a battle here for the 13th position as well now, as Paul Shaw and Rob Yost are going to swap these 2 positions. Shaw had pit 4 laps earlier than Yost. That would be the difference there that you see in the tires. Chris Melton, Andrew Teft, they're still 4th and 5th. 98 really sent it there into that turn. He's just trying to desperately get to that right rear of Chris Melton, and 98 just a little bit of a kiss there off of 4, but hopefully not put him in a position where the 16 can get past him again.
Yeah, so things starting to change a little bit. Get back to Jesse Fox, Tyler Smith. Smith working on getting to that 11th position. And as I say that, Dennis Kane, Matthew Jarrett, some of these other guys have fallen off a lot. Are they having to save that much fuel? Because Tyler Smith, but I mean, they're running similar lap times, but Smith has moved to, within 8 seconds of 9th now. And he's right there on Jesse Fox. Only 3 lap fresher tires than Fox as well. And then it's going to be about 3 seconds to Kane. So nice night if you're a Smith fan, rooting for him to get into the top 10 with a very competitive racing group.
Yeah, so you see Jesse's not really, kind of laying off either. He's probably got to do a little bit of fuel saving himself, but he's not just going to let the 77 go by, which is going to do a lot of these other drivers a favor. So they'll make sure to watch the broadcast again and send this 69 a thank you gift. And Truth Hope, he said it. I guess if I can't make it, I'm going to come down, split it down the middle.
I don't know if this is going to be a 4-tire stop or,
It's got to be 2.
or fuel only, but you know what that tells me right now?
Fuel only.
Tyler
2.
Smith might be the only car that can make it.
Yeah, it would be Tyler, then behind him and maybe
Rob
Rob
Yost,
Yost,
Smith.
Richard Odie, and those are your lead lap cars.
Yeah, Teft or Melton, they might be able to stretch it. Both are running pretty slow lap times.
So that'll put Truth a lap
Wagoneer, it
down.
looks like, yep, he's going to go. James Wagoneer has been
Wagner.
really slow, but Wagner, I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Wagoneer,
No,
I like that cheat.
this is your first time. You get to know him.
But, he's running exceptionally slow, as is Matthew Jarrett and Dennis Kane. Those guys are running really slow lap times. I'm not sure if that's due to tire wear or if they're just trying to make it. Hoke might have made the best call, go in, take a couple tires, and just run it as hard as he possibly can here.
I've seen James run out of fuel before, I think. So he's being really careful. I think just trying to maybe save some fuel. Chris Pendle, he made his way down. He was just 1 lap down, so that'll put him behind a few other cars as well. The Andrew here, Andrew seems he drives that in a little harder. He's got that mid corner speed. It's just the off, coming off the turn is where that number 49's got to beat. Is that James Wagner coming down pit lane actually here. So maybe he just said, man, these tires are gone. I don't want no more of them. I'll come down and get some 4 fresh feel goods just as Truth Hope did and see what that does for me.
This is shaping out to be extremely interesting. And in the next about seven laps or so, we're going to have an idea of who's made their bed and who has not made their bed.
Let's see. Truth Hope was...
That's moved up. That's moved some drivers up. Dennis Kane, Smith, Matthew Jarrett, and him for guys.
Oh my goodness, we are gonna take a quick rewind in this one. Everybody's okay, but look at this 22 coming off of turn 2. How loose he gets. We're gonna jump back over here. Sideways.
Wow.
Your leader. He's not letting up by any means. Let's see if it works this time. There you go. He is not letting up. He's driving the wheels off of this thing. He's ready for a win.
Which means either does he not have enough fuel and he's trying to get as far away as possible and for a splash and go, or is he just driving because he wants to drive?
I mean, maybe Todd's just been, holding out on us all day. He's just been kind of sitting back there in third. He didn't really ever push it, so maybe we just don't know his full speed capabilities.
True. 14 to go here for the Races Elite Xfinity Series. Charlotte, extra hot day out. I was about to say extra spicy, but I didn't think it flew very well. In the wall for Slauson.
All right, buddy. You just got to get back and focus. You got this. Let's get it off. You got 2.5 seconds.
Let's go take a look at Melton and Andrew Tuff. This could be it for the race win. They're within 0.3 of each other, third and fourth. They have a pretty good shot at, as Melton's actually just getting around Dunaway.
Yeah.
So he might have an opportunity to chase Slauson down anyhow. But, Teft and Melton, that could be it if Slauson can't make it.
Yeah, I mean, and even you see the 16, he's dropping further back there. This is the 14 that's right behind them of Trevor McGee, so he's not for position in that blue 14 Jolly Rancher Ford. There you go. The hood's on it this time we get to see it. As is the 55. He's just coming back around as well.
And, and if I'm Truth Hope, if I can almost make it, there's no way I'm pitting from 4th. No, I'm just not going to do it. And that just tells me none of these guys can make it.
Or Truth thinks that because everything's so close. Well, yeah, no, I definitely wouldn't pit from that. But hey, maybe just didn't feel comfortable running out of fuel, and running out of fuel could possibly cost you finishing 20th as well, actually. So maybe this is just a points decision of what, I can finish 20th or I'm going to finish 13th or 14th. I'll take the 6 or 7 points. That's not a bad decision either, actually, John. If you think about it, I don't want to run out of fuel, but I probably would have done the thing of run out of fuel if that's the case.
Yeah, I don't compete in it for enough wins. I'm gonna stick it out and try the fuel and get as many points as I can get, personally. But
but that's what I'm saying. That's what you're doing though, because if you don't think you can make it, or if it's just too close and you're not really sure that you're just too close for comfort, and you're sitting here thinking, well, if I run out of fuel, I'm gonna finish 20th because there's still 20 cars out here and they're all within a few laps. Or if I pit, I know I won't really finish worse than 14th. It's a safe call, maybe. But what if that's the call anyways?
Should be somewhat safe. I give you that. Somewhat safe.
It's a long season, a lot of points out there. We've seen drivers miss out on the playoffs by just a few points, so Richard Odie makes his way around Jesse Fox as he's trying to probably save some more fuel. As Kirby Wainscott, he is a few laps behind these drivers. He's 2 laps down. So we know Richard Odie, he's 1.9 seconds behind Tyler. He's not running any faster than him. So these are the 2 drivers we know for a fact can make it to the end based on when they last pit. But it's the 7 drivers in front of them now with 9 laps to go. That we wonder, and it's 20 seconds from Todd Slauson down to Tyler Smith.
And I want to mention though, the last couple laps, Melton and Teft have both been about 0.3 to 0.5 a lap faster than Todd Slauson. Both of them having pitted a lap later than Slauson. Slauson might be saving. The gap's now 1.3 seconds, 8 to go.
Man, from here, I would feel like if I'm Todd, I feel a little more comfortable. But you tell me 1.2 seconds, I'm not comfortable by any means. I mean, I'm not saying you should be comfortable.
Short pit stop. I'm sorry to cut you off. He had a 14.68 second pit stop compared to the guys behind him, 15.2 and 15.05. That's more fuel.
Well, they pit a lap later, so maybe that's why they needed the fuel too. So, but and you're right though. With the longer or the shorter pit stops, so now with Todd really having to try to make it. But I don't see him doing anything lighter because I typically let off here, hitting that line going into 3, and that's still where he's letting off now. I saw the flames coming out of the side there, so I don't think he's in that fuel saving mode. I think he's just go, and maybe he had saved enough already at the start, this run.
Maybe indeed. We'll find out in 6 more laps to go. Slauson, Melton, Teft, Dunaway, Bennett, Lee Campbell, Matthew Jarrett, Tyler Smith, Richard Odie, Jesse Fox. That's your top 10. Still have 20 drivers on the racing surface with a couple drivers, 3 drivers a lap down, 2 drivers 2 down. Excuse me, got 3 down. So 3 a lap, 2 laps down. And Sean Merriman currently in the lucky dog position. Fastest car on track is Truth Hope, currently scored 13th. Might be able to catch Rob Yost before the end of this one. He's about a second faster than him, and he's got 5 seconds to him.
Yeah, 5 laps to go. Lee Campbell now, he's looking to the outside of the 16. I don't know if the 16 is really going to put up a fight now. He's just going to go ahead and give him some space. The 60 comes down a little bit. Oh, the 60. Mike, the thing is, there was no contact there, I don't think. I think the 16 was just simply loose on the tri-oval. That's how slick right now these tires are.
Yeah, that was almost the caution a lot of these guys wanted. But, you got to enjoy fuel strategy sometimes. And sometimes races just kind of turn into it. That gap is now under a second. Melton to Slauson with 4 laps to go. 0.2 of a second faster last time was Melton. If he keeps that up, we're going to have a battle for the lead.
We're gonna have a battle for the lead. You look here right here. There it is. That right at the bottom there. The last 5 laps. 2/10, half a tenth, 2/10, 1.5 tenths, and they are just moving. And right now, it was actually beneficial to Melton, as he's got the 98 of Chris Pendle, who's a lap car on fresh tires, essentially pushing him towards the 22. He'll go around him now, finally, but that was a little bit of a boost as well. As the 94 just tags the wall trying to get around him. So that's a slight boost as well that you can get. Now it's actually going to hurt him with where he's going to have to enter the corner because of where the 94 is.
Yeah, last time around he didn't make up quite as much time as he needed. At this point, your bet is made. Can Slauson or Melton get to the end? A lap and a half to go for these guys. Is anybody else going to run out, like Dunaway or Lee Campbell, 4th and 5th? Going to keep an eye on their speeds to see if anything happens to those drivers.
Todd Slauson, he's going to come off of turn 4. He's looking for the victory here in race number
Lee
2.
Campbell
We have
might
one
be
to
out.
go.
113. Oh, now he's back on the throttle.
We'll see what happens here. He's not won
No
since
one's slow
April of this year. It's been a little bit of a dry spell for this number 22, but he's going to send it in here to turn number 3. He's got 4/10. I think he could probably... Oh, no, Chris Melton is right there. It's not going to be enough. Put it to it. Todd Slauson saves enough fuel. He's going to win the second race here of the season in amazing fashion, because I cannot believe that he saves enough fuel to make it to the end.
Yeah, I can't either, as Lee Campbell's dropping positions. Lee Campbell is out of fuel, 70 miles an hour, currently back down to 9th as drivers are coming around him. Truth Hope's going to gain another spot. He's going to finish in the top 10. Lee Campbell's out. Is anybody else out? So 63 is not the magic number. So 1 lap above that, and you were able to make it.
Wow.
Wow. Same thought. I'll see you soon. You know what you owe me.
Oh,
Kidding.
my goodness.
Kidding.
Absolutely. No, I mean, I was going to let Todd Slauson burn this down. Beautiful new paint scheme here tonight. As I mentioned, is not what he drove last year. Putting the Toyota Supra here into victory lane. We haven't had many Supras here in the series at all, and we have a big jump of them this year, and we're gonna have one in victory lane here tonight. So I think Truth just wants his interview. Let's go ahead and find Truth on. Let's see. Oh,
Man, on the damn pit, on the pitch.
well, Truth, we brought you in. Sorry,
I'll
Truth. Truth, this is Angel and John here in the SRM broadcast booth.
Oh.
Sorry to interrupt your celebration there, I guess, with your friends there and teammates, but we got a winner to talk to here.
Who?
Why did you get Truth?
Oh my!
I know,
Whoa!
I
Oh my
get
goodness! No! Oh my God! I brought the wrong. I
Well, you better
grabbed
get
Truth.
now and ask him
I'm
why
looking
he
at
did.
Todd. I grabbed Truth, and then I'm still. I mentioned the right person at least. Oh my goodness! I am so
No,
sorry.
You didn't. You said Truth the whole time.
Well, that's what I'm saying. No, I'm like I'm looking at Todd, but then I grabbed Truth, and I'm like, okay, because I saw his name, I mentioned it. Truth, I'm sorry, but you know what? You had a good comeback there for top 10. I apologize.
That's all right.
Man, I'm looking at the wrong one. John, what are we doing here?
Well, you need to go get Todd Slauson. But before we do that, Truth, gonna ask, why did you choose?
Oh,
to
well, Truth
pit?
already went
I
back
feel
down
like-
actually.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, I know. He jumped back down already. He wanted to go back and talk to his friends. Sorry. I didn't ask him to stay.
This is the problem with the virtual racing. We can't just go up, run up to these drivers, and make them stay.
No, we can't go up. We can't just make them stay. But you know what? We can bring in the right person this time. Todd, this is Angel and John here in the SRM broadcast booth. You got us, buddy.
Angel, what up?
Man, here we are. Victory Lane, buddy. John, I'm sorry I cut you off there, but I got to congratulate him, man. Victory Lane here. Congratulations.
Heck yeah, Charlotte. I cannot believe it. I'm so pumped. You say, act like you've been there before, but I feel like I ain't been there ever before, so I'm real excited about this one.
Well, you mentioned Charlotte. It probably being the first time you win here. Your last win really for the series being back in April at Dover, I think it was. So vastly different track, but you had to do a lot of tire saving, but really at the end it was fuel saving. Todd, what did you have to do? Put some Mountain Dew in this engine to keep it going to the end?
Yeah, I was sure milking it for the last 20 laps, but yeah, I ran all season last season, didn't miss a race, and never was able to clinch a win. Nathan Mann seemed like he scooped up most of them, so they were hard to get last season. I'm just thankful he's not here tonight, or he probably would have won tonight as well. But I really had a good time racing with him. He taught me a lot and showed us how fast these cars can actually be. So definitely missed racing with Nathan. But yeah, tonight was a great night. Second race of the season to go ahead and get a win and take some huge weight off my shoulders for the rest of the season. Now I can just race and give and take a little bit more probably here and there and just try and pull off those top five every week and see how far I can go here in the playoffs.
Well, Todd, with speed that you had here like tonight, there's no reason why you can't be the Nathan Mann here of season 5. So let's see what you've got here for the rest of the season. Before I let you go, though, I'm gonna let John give you an opportunity to ask you something, and then we'll give you the chance to thank all your friends, family, and sponsors.
And Sloss, we were watching you through the race. There's a moment out of, I believe it was turn 2, you got really loose and managed to hang on to it. Was that kind of a moment to settle in and not drive the car so hard, or did you really change anything after that?
Yeah, definitely. At that point, I realized, wow, this car is really starting to become a handful. So I went ahead and backed it down from a 9 out of 10 to an 8 out of 10, and then just kept working it down a little bit as the tires kind of wore in. But yeah, it was weird because I was tight most of the time, and then every once in a while, the car would want to break loose out from underneath you, and then it was hard to catch. So it was definitely tricky tonight. I found that rolling into the corners, um, letting off the gas really early, rolling off into the corners, and then just trying to get my tires to that blue line down there, which was almost impossible, it felt like at times. But yeah, I just kept repeatedly just trying to drive to that blue line, drive to that blue line. And it felt like if I did ever touch it, it helped me hook around the corner. So I felt like that was a big thing for me to save tires tonight. But definitely got to thank you guys. I love going back and watching these races. It adds so much more to it for us racers to be able to go back and rewatch the things that we didn't get to see while we were actually racing. So I definitely appreciate you guys. You do such a great job up there in the booth, and you know everybody's storylines and names, and we appreciate that. So also got to thank Andrew for running the league. He does a great job with this. Definitely appreciate him. The numbers keep going up, and we love to have a lot of occupants here and all these race cars. So also got to thank my family, my wife Taylor, and my kids Tanner and Tinley, and also my mom and dad if they're watching. So appreciate everybody.
We appreciate you,
All right, well
Todd.
said.
And as I always say, whenever you guys give us credit, Todd, all we get to do is sit here and talk about it. You guys put on the show for us, so we do appreciate it. And well, go out there, enjoy this win, man. You get to go enjoy it for a whole week.
Yeah, I wish I could have done a burnout. That kind of stinks, but I ran out coming across the finish line.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah,
What do you think about that, John?
When I crossed the finish line, it was sputtering, so I timed it absolutely perfect, and also had pressure coming, and I was trying to keep enough speed to keep him off of me. Just barely managed to do it. I don't know if I could have done it for another lap or two. So that's close one, but definitely excited about it. Gonna go celebrate with family.
There it is. Congratulations,
Dual
buddy.
strategy.
All right, that was your race winner. Chris Melton not here in the chat, so we're gonna go ahead and bring in our the league owner. And John, I know you've had plenty of conversations with him, but you're gonna be interviewing Andrew tonight. Go on, take him away.
Andrew, Jonathan Angel in the booth. Congratulations on the top 3. Really good run for you. Did you know that you and Chris Melton were maybe a lap away from taking the win from Todd Slauson?
Yeah, I knew I was conserving a little bit and was probably on the better end of that stretching it strategy. So I was definitely wondering what they had going on. Yeah, I think I just burned up my right front a little bit too quickly and didn't have enough at the end there. But yeah, it was a good race overall. And congrats to Todd. I think that's like 4 first-time winners in the last week, so that's really awesome to see.
I mean, when there's a lot of racing going on, there's a lot of cool things to happen. Andrew, I guess, how was the surface driving? Obviously, it was really hot, so I imagine it was loose early on the run, and then eventually when the tires just went out, you're just kind of battling a loose situation. You got to kind of overdrive the corner, then you're trying to keep it off the wall. Is that fairly accurate representation of what you drivers are facing out there?
Yeah, sort of. The steering ratio was kind of a toss up between the 12-1 or 14-1 for me, and 14-1. I felt like I was keeping up with the feedback a little bit better, but found if I turned past like 10 o'clock, I would just kind of roast the fronts off, and that's what I was really doing. Um, kind of think maybe I should have stayed with that 12, but yeah, just trying to, keep the scrub out of the front tires, and eventually toward the end, you got to use a little brake. So I was trying to decide where I wanted to use the brake in the corner, if I wanted to kind of spike it at the start and hammer the gas off, or kind of just try to keep momentum up through the corner. But yeah, I like that high line up in 3 and 4, but kind of pay the price a little bit at the end of the run.
All right. Well, Andrew, is there anyone you want to mention? Things you want to say before we let you go?
Yeah, congrats again to Todd. Thanks for you guys. Thanks to you guys for doing the show. Thoughts with everybody down in flooded areas due to the hurricane. A couple guys are still away from their equipment, unfortunately, but look forward to having them back. And want to thank our servicemen and women, my family, for letting me invest the time, and then everybody that tunes in to watch and shows up to race. If you want more info, head on over to racerselite.com.
Yeah, well said. Thanks for the interview. Great run, and we'll be seeing you again, I'm sure.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Well, Angel, you said it really well. They got a lot of racing going on, lots of different winners this week. Special shout out to, those that have been affected by the hurricane. Truth Hope being one of them. Troy Thomas being a guy for both SRM and Racers Elite, and many, many others that were affected by the hurricane. It's going to be a long road to recovery. It could be a couple weeks before we see those drivers and people back out on iRacing. So if you got friends down there, think about them, throw them some emotional support, see what you can do to help. And hopefully soon they will be back racing and with lights on.
Yeah, my mom reminded me, that it's what we essentially experienced here in the Central Florida area 20 years ago with the hurricanes that we got. That, of course, that destroyed. We lost our home for, I think, 10, 11 months that we were out of our home. Had to have a whole bunch of it rebuilt. So I was a kid at the time, but we understand the struggle. We understand it. It's not by no means easy. So we are praying for all of you. In the meantime, we'll go over our race results here tonight, mentioning there Todd Slauson and Victor Lane, of course. Congratulations to him. Chris Melton there in second. Chris starting off the season first last week, second this week. That's a pretty good start. You can only imagine, of course, he'll be the points leader. Andrew Teff there in third. Sean Dunaway would finish in fourth, with Michael Bennett rounding out your top five. Matthew Jarrett would finish in sixth, and John, read to me, who'll finish in seventh.
Seventh, Tyler Smith, with somebody that's really, really rooting for him, which I sort of think I know who it is.
Well,
Might be a guy that's looking at us hosting a charity race for him. So stay tuned. We're going to be releasing some information. We'll be hosting a pretty big charity race, I believe on the 18th at 7 o'clock, Talladega event. It's going to be a little bit of a buy-in. All of it's going to go to charity. We're going to cover it, and it's going to be just before SRM takes over Homestead. Just kidding. That'll be kind of a funny shirt if we did it. But yeah, we're going to be doing a really big event. So if you're interested in being a part of that, it would mean a lot. It's going to be for some cancer patients, and the money's going to go to a good cause, and Talladega racing is always fun.
I just wanted you to call it out for seventh because that's where I said he would finish. So, Odie there in eighth, Jesse Fox in ninth, and then Truth Hoke there, rounding out your top 10. Go ahead and finish it off here, the field for us, Mr. Bossman.
Rob Haas Jr., Lee Campbell, 11th and 12th. 13th is Dennis Kane. Paul Shaw, 14th. Sean Merriman recovers to 15th. Just never really got a caution to get that lap back, unfortunately. James Wagner, 16th. 17th, our own Colin McDonough. Rough race for him. Lap down, just couldn't get the lap back. There just wasn't another caution. Christopher Pendle, Trevor McGee, Kirby Wayne Scott are going to round out the field, and that'll be the year 20.
Oh, I
And,
apologize.
there is Hugh Escobar, who is a DNF plus 86 laps.
Yeah, 105 laps, and we had, 5 cautions, and only one person didn't finish the race. I'm honestly pretty impressed with that. that's not bad
It's
at all.
the best league to race for.
Yes, it is. Next week, though, they head to the very fun. I say very fun because I think in the Xfinity cars that this track can be fun. But we head next week to Texas. So I'm excited for that one. John, thank you so much for joining me here tonight. I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, we don't always get to do these together. And, okay, well, we pronounced Rob's name wrong. It is Rob Yost.
All right. Well,
Yost.
I don't see a U in there.
No,
so give
sorry.
us a
My name is Yost. Sorry, I apologize, Rob. I'll get it right eventually. I'll probably mess it up 6 more times here before then anyways. That's my bad English. Thank you again, everybody, for joining us tonight. Please remember Racers Elite on tomorrow as well. Always on the Sim Racing Media Network, same time. Of course, all throughout the week that they have us. Don't forget, if you haven't already, like, share, subscribe. Make sure you got those bell notifications running with us so that you can always see the fun action here on the Sim Racing Media Network. Myself, Angel Santiago, my broadcast partner here, Jonathan Leach, sign us off. Have a good night, everyone.